Hello, Music 110. This is a review video that goes along with a unit test review worksheet. As with Unit 1 test, I'm giving you a sample copy of the test. Of course, the questions will be different, but this is going to be the exact format that the test for Unit 2 will be in. So if this is helpful, print out the review sheet, which is the one that I'm going over right now, follow along, or do it on your own first and then take a look at the answers and see what you need help with. Okay. There are a few sections. The first section asks you to write major scales as indicated. I'm just going to go over a few of these because there are other resources that I've posted before that goes through extensively how you write major scales. Okay, so I would encourage you to take a look at those if you need to. So here I have D major that's being asked by me. I'm asking you to write the D major scale. Please take a look at the clef. Please make sure that you're taking a note at the clef, and so you're adding notes using the correct clef. Most importantly, you're using the correct note to begin with. So this is a treble clef, so I'm going to use the D here right on below the staff. The first step I would recommend is just to write out all of the notes of the musical alphabet one after another. Okay, and if you do that, they'll all be going along line space, line space, line space like that. Okay, if it's helpful, you can also just write out the note names, although this is not necessary for the test. I'm just going to grade the notes. Use one whole note per bar. So for this exercise, please use whole notes. Please use accidentals and do not use a key signature. Okay, so in D major, there are a few sharps. Okay, and maybe you have remembered that from working with the flashcards or the exercises. But if not, no worries. Just remember that all major scales follow this pattern: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Of course, I'm writing the whole and half above the bar line to remind you that this is describing the relationship between two notes at a time, right? And if you need to go through them to figure out what the sharps are, you would do it first by evaluating D and E. I'm putting a check mark next to D because I'm not going to change that. That's already done. If I start changing that, then it wouldn't be a D major scale. The next thing I'm doing is to figure out whether E is a whole step above D. Okay, the only way really you can know this is by referring to a piano keyboard or a chart of a piano keyboard. So as you're working on this on your own, please, please, please refer to a keyboard. If you have a keyboard around, great. If not, use the virtual piano or draw out the keys or Google an image of a piano keyboard. That's how you're going to remember whether D and E are a whole step apart. So if you keep going this way, you'll find that D and E, of course, is a whole step. So nothing needed. So I put a check mark here to remind me that I've already completed this check. Next, I'm checking whether the distance between E and F is a whole step, because that's what I need. And indeed it's not, because E and F are two white keys placed directly next to each other. They're one of the two pairs of white keys that are a half step apart. So in order to make this a whole step, I have to add a sharp to the F. Remember that I'm only changing the F here, okay? I'm not going to change the E, because remember I've already completed that. If I start changing the E, making an E flat, for example, E flat to F, to make it a whole step, then it would mess up this relationship here. So that's how we're going to keep going one note at a time, okay? Okay, so you're going to keep going here. F sharp to G is already a half step. G to A is a whole step. A to B is a whole step. B to C is currently a half step, but we need a whole step. So again, I'm not changing the B. I need to add a sharp to the C to make that a whole step. Okay, remember a whole step is just two half steps. Okay, and then C sharp to D, already a half step, so that's done. So here, the D major scale, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. Okay, notice that there are two sharps, F sharp and C sharp. And the next part, I'm going to go over the key signatures.